Hey, Dr. Dunaway here with Chiro Strength. I'm going to go over one of my favorite drills of all time, the single leg deadlift. Now, I'm not going to get into the host of reasons why I love it, but it's going to challenge your balance, it's going to challenge your mobility, and it's going to challenge your ability to keep the spine and hips locked in so you're not leaking energy into the knees, into the calves, and making yourself susceptible to injury. If you cannot perform this drill, you really have to reevaluate how you're spending your time training for your either activity or your sport. Because if you can't stay on one leg and be stable on one leg, your risk of injury increases and your performance is going to drop. So the single leg deadlift, here's a few things to keep in mind. First, if you don't have the balance to go down and touch a kettlebell or touch a dumbbell and come back up, you need to work on balance. There's a host of different reasons to do that, but don't pick up weight until you feel stable going down to pick the weight up. The second thing is if you feel yourself, if you can't get the butt back in this position and get low enough because you have a mobility issue, you may need to work on mobility. A good way to offset that in the meantime is just raise weight up off the floor onto some type of bench or step. But as you're able to get the mobility to go down there and you have the balance to get down there, when you do a single leg deadlift, the last thing to remember is that there shouldn't be a big bend between the hips and the spine. And what I mean by that is my leg, if I were to tape a dowel rod between my shoulder and my leg, they would stay completely together, at least to the knee. If you have a little bend in the knee, that's okay, but my hip does not need to be flexed like this as I'm going down to pick something up. That hip should be fully extended, engaging this glute, and my back heel is pushing that way, right? Really try to keep the entire leg straight. So a single leg deadlift looks like this, all put together. Hinge back, my back leg is straight, squeezing the glute, coming down to pick up a kettlebell nice and slow, locking in here, slowly coming up, balance, slowly put that weight down, and you'll see my knee minimally comes forward. Most of that motion's butt back, and that leg and that lumbar spine stay in line with each other. Now, performing this drill based on reps and sets, keep the reps pretty low. Don't go fast. Do this more for a time, so 60 to 90 seconds, watching a clock, going through those reps nice and slow, and do this a couple times on each side. And once you're able to do this really well and feel comfortable with it, your risk of injury from running injuries is going to drastically decrease. So this should be a staple in anybody's strength training that it has running as a component of either their hobby or sport. So again, this is Dr. Dunaway with Chiro Strength saying, don't just mend, transcend. Thanks.